Fear, love, hate, mixed with the unknown. They say love is the strongest force on the planet, but hate gives it competition when three people from different worlds collide on one fateful night. Anxiety, prejudging, stereotypes rise to the surface. But which emotional force shall rise above the rest in this occasion?
Okay. Now, that right there was gripping. That was gripping. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to episode 415 of the Terrell Effect. And we are here with Captain.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. How's everybody doing?
Oh, man, life is good. I'm getting ready to celebrate my 40th birthday. Tonight we have a black light party. That's why you see some of the shenanigans and madness that we have going on right here. Design my face.
I see that.
You know what I mean? So this hat glows like you wouldn't believe in the black light. So I was just actually walking around testing it. I caught myself online. I'm like, well, you might as well run with it now.
I hear you.
So
well, congratulations. Happy B-Day.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Now, yeah, I like the way this started. Let's talk more about this. When are you releasing the truth?
So this Wednesday, right? Well, congratulations. First of all, you have 400 and something episodes.
415, right? Yes.
415. That's a big accomplishment, you know.
Thank you very much.
People do podcasts and stuff like that. So, but yeah, so this is going to be released. We're having a premiere, right, showing. It's going to be Wednesday, July 24th, at 7 p.m. Right, based in Ottawa, right, at the Scotiabank Theater. So nice. Yeah, but we don't have distribution yet. So this is just screening for the folks in Ottawa to see. But after the screening, we're going to shop it around to film festivals and try to look for distribution on streaming platforms so where we can get it out there to the people.
All right. So give a quick synopsis of the movie. What can you tell us without giving away too much of the story?
Well, it's a lot of things. I could tell you a lot without giving away the whole movie, right?
Okay.
So it's about a Canadian black man, right, who's on the run from the police, but we don't give reason why he's on the run, right? We give reason that he's innocent, but we don't show too much of the backstory. And then he seeks refuge into a woman's house who's an immigrant black lady from Ethiopia, right? Okay. And he's on the run, and during the course of the night, he just wants a place to hide for the night so he can leave in the morning. But in the course of the night, they have dialogues about many different issues in Canada. One is that the immigrant lady, she does not believe in police brutality. She hasn't seen it. That's not her experience as far as the African community comes into play, right? So she's skeptical about those narratives, right? So the movie explores the disconnect sometimes with African immigrants, sometimes, right? The older ones, not necessarily the younger ones who gel and mesh with the Caribbean community, right? And through music and hip hop and stuff like that. But the older ones, there's a disconnect sometimes. And that's what the movie explores, those dynamics, right? Between Canadian blacks who might be from Caribbean descent, African blacks, right? Canadian blacks from African descent, or first generational African, and long-standing Canadian blacks, right? And the realities that each community faces when it comes to like racism, institutionalized racism, and stuff like that. So that's what it explores over the course of the night, right? While still he's being hunted by this police officer looking for him.
Okay, it's something that'll have people thinking. Yes. All right. So what promoted the idea to create the movie?
Me, myself, like I'm from Toronto originally, but I've been living in Ottawa for a long time. I've been living in Ottawa since my father moved here in 1988. But I'm born and raised in Toronto. My father is from Guyanese descent, right? Or Guyanese. So, and my mom is Canadian black, right? So, met my mother in '65, and the rest is history, right?
Yep.
Um, but moving to Ottawa, one thing I realized that it was a culture shock, right?
Thanks for the
Smaller,
promo.
way, yeah, yes.
Culture Shock's the name of the magazine and the radio station. So
Oh
I
yes,
appreciate that. Yeah.
that's what's up. But
Yep.
yeah, man. But it was a big culture shock because at that time in '88, Toronto probably had about 300,000 black folks, and Ottawa had just had like 30,000, right? So with that dynamics, right, it was very much a culture shock for me in the high schools and just navigating my way. But also I realized there was a disconnect coming to Ottawa and finding a lot more African blacks that didn't gel with us. Me coming from
Yeah.
Caribbean descent, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. There was a bit of dissonance between like African black and Jamaica or Caribbean black. And
Mm-hmm.
last time I checked, black was black, but we'll get back to that fact.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Hmm.
Yeah, so that really put a like, and I was never growing up with that because growing up in Toronto, like I was so much around so much black folks, I didn't care about, like, you know what I'm saying? Where you from?
No.
You black, like we vibing, right? You know.
Yeah.
Um,
Yep.
but here it was like it very much a sharp line, as far as like those was coming from East Africa and stuff like that. So yeah, so that really, really sparked it from way back then. I was, acutely aware of those dynamics, and it's still here to this day to a certain extent.
Yep.
Right.
But now I find it's become more of a parody of itself. Like more people within each culture are making jokes of how it was back in the day, kind of thing, and kind of pointing out and learning from the ignorance from the earlier days.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, now, and I still say this, it's without the music culture, right? Because I think the music culture really and the street culture really is the bridging gap. If it wasn't for that, because like for instance, when East Africans came, they came with a strong culture, but their sons didn't mix with us, and their daughters couldn't date us. For one,
Nope.
right? That was off the
Hmm.
table. Now, with the younger generation, I still haven't dated an East African woman yet, from anywhere from Somalia or that area, right? But I see the younger generations that's changing, right?
Okay.
That I see that changing, right? But still, once you hit around like 35 and up, I still see the sharp divide in the communities. Like when when we had unfortunate deaths here from from police officers. Just the last one was 6 years ago, right?
Yeah.
A Somali man was killed and stuff like that. But still, there was none of the other African communities marching. It was mostly the Canadian Caribbean blacks that was marching. You understand? So they didn't
Yeah.
come out to the march and the protest and stuff like that because a lot of those folks felt like, hey, it doesn't apply to them. They're from Nigeria or from Congo, or they were middle class. They feel like this doesn't relate to them. So
Yeah.
they didn't feel like they had skin in the game. I feel so. These are the narratives that made me think I want to touch on these subjects. When I write my movies.
Okay. All right. That's deep. That's just that. It's an interesting narrative that
Hmm.
you are covering, and it's a necessary narrative to cover because if we're not having these conversations, I can't believe we're having such a serious conversation in this hat. Anyways, if we're not having these conversations, you know what I mean, then
Yes.
people aren't learning, and for us to develop, for us to grow, we got to learn from each other. I'm pretty sure one of the proverbs or one of the African proverbs that we can learn from is each one teach one.
Hmm.
um I know something that you don't know. You know something that I don't know. So why not just exchange the information so we can both grow?
Hmm. Hmm.
Hmm.
Yes, most definitely, most definitely.
Yeah, man.
So yeah, so and I don't get too heavy in it. I put a little comedy in the script, right?
Good, good.
And so I keep it a little bit light, but the narrative is there, right?
Yeah.
As far as the meat of the movie, the narrative is there.
All right. All right. So I'm just looking at getting this playlist together. We're gonna skip through some things, but we are here on episode 415 of the Terrell Effect with Captain. This episode is brought to you in part by Expose the North. We go there and beyond. Culture Shock. We are the product. Culture Shock Magazine, the zine for those unseen in the scene, and Culture Shock Radio. We are in the mix. Come get your fix. Yes. Also brought to you by the Village Global Network. The Village Global Network, we make the network. And ladies and gentlemen, all of those slogans, to the best of my knowledge, I came up with and work so effectively to promote each brand we just run with. Okay.
Yes,
So
yes.
it is what it is. We go do what we do. And before we get too live into the music, what genre would you say carried the most weight in your production?
I would say in the music, in music in the movie, or the genre of the movie itself.
The music in the movie.
In the movie, oh, hip hop most definitely, and reggae. It was equal balance, right? You know,
Okay.
yeah, hip hop and reggae is used in the movie.
All right, that's good. Good to know. Good to know. All right, ladies and gentlemen, like I said, we are here, episode 415. We are here with Captain, the director and writer of The Truth. And just so you know, we will be back right after this break. And we're back. For those of you watching live, that might have been a trip, but knowing where this episode is going, I had to leave time for other sponsors to be showing. Back to the interview. All right, so we got some music here, and as I'm looking at this, I feel like there's a bit of a political, there's some political undertones to the song or to the movie that you're bringing to release for viewing July 24th in Ottawa at the Scotiabank Theater.
Yes.
But since we're talking hip hop, we might as well get into the hip hop. Let me set this up because I gotta make that mix. Always gotta have that mix ready because you never know when this content will come in handy. All right, there we go. Checking the mic. Mic check. Yeah, we good. All right, so episode 415 of the Terrell Effect. We're here with Captain. We're gonna play some music in the back. If y'all like, you know what I mean, feel free to say something in the comments. We are gonna be talking about the music and, you know what I mean, the developments. Let's go.
He wanted to be humble. He could have had a big home. He drove a little old car in his younger days trying to be humble. But they think you don't have nothing. People don't respect you when you look like you don't have no money. So I gotta buy diamonds. I gotta have a Rolls Royce. I made it from so underrated. I'm moving like so undisputed.
Quoting Muhammad Ali.
What happened when you keep on rapping and say I refuse to be muted? I got the money to call the jobs, the boots and jewelry. I got the real estate ventures. I got vacation adventures. Well, hold up, I'm switching the gear. Follow me here. I got the mayor, the congressman, senator. I got the governor's here. Yeah, I'm Muhammad Ali. Talking my prime. Taking my time. Diamonds on wood. Dip with a dime. My diamond and pink, you been streets in a chocolate tie. Don't humble me now.
Killer Mike is definitely one of the political voices in the hip hop community for sure.
Yes, that's for sure. And he's getting his flowers. He's getting his flowers right now, you know.
I mean, that's a man that holding a political seat would definitely make waves of change. You know who else I think would make waves of change holding a political seat? KRS-One.
Oh man, you're opening a can of worms there with me.
I am. Potentially, if you've never heard it anywhere else, you might have heard it here.
Man, that definitely, he's been the most consistent, right, with his platform, and never wavered, never kind of like went on that political route when it was like the golden era, then came out of it, you know, and followed the trends. He stuck with it, right, with integrity, you know. Oh yeah, man. KRS-One, the Blast Master.
Definitely. All right. That was Killer Mike, Humble Me. This right here is Big Sean. Yes, we are going into 16 and out mode. That is where I play 16 bars of the track, and then we fade out to the next one. We got some time here. So, who's out in the Ottawa scene right now that people should be listening to?
there's a gentleman by the name of Bobby Bukau, right?
Okay.
He's a good artist, been putting in consistent work. He's a transplant from Pittsburgh, but moved to
Okay.
Ottawa
Yeah.
a long time ago, and
Yeah.
he's been doing some good things.
Okay.
The host for the Ottawa Blackjacks, right? The CEBL team, right? Yeah,
Oh, okay. I was about to say y'all can you should hook me up with them, but then
yeah.
I kind of another
I,
team on the chest, right?
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you, B. I
And I
hear
think
you.
we actually play each other this coming Sunday at
Yeah,
the
man.
Meridian Center.
Yeah, man.
It's
So,
hard though, but that's good, man. The sports is definitely an important part of the community as well. You got to stay
oh
active. You
yes,
got to, you know what I mean. You
oh
got
yeah,
to represent your ambitions. We'll say.
oh yeah, definitely, definitely. And so yeah, so we got Bobby Bugal, we got City Fidelia, right?
Yeah.
City Fidelia is somebody to check out. He's doing
Okay.
big things. Yeah. We have Dynamic, your favorite light skin, right?
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, he's doing his thing. So there's artists out here doing their thing,
You know
right?
what? Any of those artists, if you have since you have that connect,
Mhm.
if any of them are interested in coming on the show, feel free to extend the offer.
Okay, no problem, no problem,
Yeah.
no problem.
Okay. Major Major Maija. The song's called X's. I think I have to pull it up a little bit. Hold up. All right. So life has a way of happening, man. I'm telling you. I guess. There we go. Life has a way of happening, bro. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm.
Life has a way of happening. I'm sitting in here, and y'all get to see behind the scenes right now. All right, y'all get to see behind the scenes. Where we at in the time? Okay, we got a few minutes until our commercial break. But like, what y'all don't see behind the scenes is all this fun stuff right here. All right.
Mm-hmm.
All this, let me turn the computer right here. All this fun stuff right here that at any moment in time I have to figure out why lights flashing or why something's happening. Now, as it turns out, I also have animals. Okay. Now, animals, specifically cats, like to crawl on whatever the hell they feel like getting access to. All right. So occasionally, and from time to time, things don't stay connected the way they're supposed to. This is what happens. This is the one of those elements that I seem to be dealing with at this junction. Now I'm gonna connect everything that needs to be connected, but this power source feels warm, not warm. My Canadian counterparts. I said
Mm-hmm.
warm. There's no
Mm-hmm.
R. There's no R. It's two A's. Warm. We getting a lesson in Creole right now. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So this warm thing right here, so when it get too warm, it no one transfer the energy right, or it doesn't like to work well. We'll say. And I got to go through it and make sure everything cools down and runs proper. You see, see, that's what we're going to be displaying me and the boys wrestling on tonight, right there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Live at 8 o'clock. You can check it out on James Owen Brown's YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/at POEZ. Have any of the local musical artists contributed to the soundtrack for the movie? 320 Rose asking that question.
Um, yes, Bobby Bogle is featured throughout the movie, right? He's actually the son of the editor for the movie, right? Gilly Ranks.
Okay.
So Gilly Ranks is the editor. I've been working with him for a long time now, And so we partnered. The production company is called Three Brothers Films, right?
Okay.
So I was doing my thing. I have two prior features that I've done myself with my company, Northern Touch Films. Gilly Ranks was
Okay.
doing his own stuff too, being an editor for a lot of people here in Ottawa. And then it
Yep.
was New Flavor Studios, Brother Gene. So we're all doing our own thing, and so we decided to come together and form, like, a collective,
Mm-hmm.
and come up with the, a production company. And the first project that was, I have like about 16 scripts written, like, and just sitting down and waiting. So I presented one, and I
Okay.
say, this is the first script we're going to go with. And yes, we went with this one. And so Bobby Bogle, yeah, is the son of Gilly Ranks, right? So it's
Okay.
in-house, but he's a local artist too. And yeah, so we featured him. Right. And he has about 3
Okay.
tracks in the movie itself. Right.
Okay. Okay. Now we're getting back to function here. Let's make sure this thing is charging the way it's supposed to. Lord. So things just want to challenge the eye. Ep.415. Okay. We got this here. And we're going to keep moving forward. The truth. I've been heard saying the truth is what one is willing to believe. So
Mm.
yeah, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I haven't heard anyone contest the statement yet because that's all it breaks down to. It really is. So I found it interesting and opportune to talk about this concept of truth because there's people who have been provided for and claim victim, and there's people who are victim and won't act like it.
Mm-hmm. I hear you.
Right?
That's a unique
Right?
one. I never heard that one before. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So, you know what I mean? We can split hairs and we can, make assumptions and things like that. But at the end of the day, it's like you can tell me whatever you want to tell me, but if there's no foundation to it, I don't know if I could take it as
Yeah.
truth. But we'll get right back to that after this
All
break.
all right.
Okay, so what truth do you want to take from this show? What truth do you want people to take from this movie?
Well, I want the truth of and it's funny that you said that I like that statement you said, right? Some people are victim and don't want to, and
Hmm.
claim it, right? Because with the two characters, well, one being the immigrant person does not even see or understand these narratives of what Canadian blacks have been going through with the system, right? Not only
Hmm.
with police, but just generally the system, right?
Hmm.
Period. Right. That shows you that, yeah, people have different perspectives on reality of what the truth is, right? And
Hmm.
when the truth is presented to them, they deny it, right? So definitely I want people to realize that what your experience might not generally
Hmm.
be in anything, in any arena in life, might not be the experience for the masses of the others, right? Because of your,
Ah,
your small
we have
bubble
a
that you might be living in.
we have a saying for that in the Caribbean that breaks it down, and that's what I love about the Caribbean and the proverbs in general. They just from any culture, they just have a quick way to short and long talk.
Hmm.
Push on down, have to see him look. You know that one,
Yeah,
right?
I know that one. Yeah. I never heard it in a long time though.
Yeah, man.
That bring me back. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm telling you, worse is when they tell you something and it happens right as they're talking it. I remember
Mm.
my aunt, like, I have some aunts that are younger than me, and we don't need to explain the dynamic. We know how the Caribbean goes. Anyway, so as my mother sends me a picture, what she sent me a picture of, hold on. Okay, no matter what happens in life, keep a heart of patience and trust. Don't let the darkness of this world harden your heart. Walk in love, knowing each day is a gift and that you are blessed. She's wishing me a delightful day. So you know what? There we go. But
I hear you.
I remember I was the last time I went to Jamaica. There's a wire fence in between our property and my aunt's property,
Hmm.
and I was young, and you know, what I mean, I'm spry. We can't jump this. The cool things. So she goes, David, remember, long road bring sweat, short road bring blood.
I'm like, Auntie, what you mean? As I jump, my foot itches on the wire and I come down hard.
Mm, mm.
Walk around the fence instead of trying to take the easy way I should have done.
Yep,
But
yep,
you
yep,
know,
yep. I
that's
hear you,
that's
man.
what that's what it is. We got 320 row again saying instead of racial unity, other immigrants often default to religion and culture.
Hmm.
I
Um,
find uh,
you asking me? You want me to touch on it, or you want to speak?
no, that's you,
Okay.
that's you.
Okay. Well, that's kind of natural for people, especially when you're immigrants, right? Say like the most obvious one, East Africa. If you're talking like Somalia, Djibouti, Ethiopia, those people, they come with a strong culture, right?
Yeah.
Religious culture and traditional African cultural nuances and stuff like that. Religion is going to be binding, and I don't want to. If people are against like religion, like organized religion, any of the Abrahamic faiths, right? I understand some people might be against it, but I even could say religion. I could extend that to African traditional religious spiritual systems, right? Those
Hmm.
are binding too, right? If you go to Nigeria, Central Congo, they have systems that bind people, right? Um,
Hmm.
and sometimes you just gotta, when you come to the West, you got to. Most people want to stick and be with their tribe, so to speak, right? With their
Hmm.
like and kind. So it's probably one of the most strongest things that binds people, right? Is probably any religion or spirituality, then cultural nuances that you remember from your homeland, right?
Hmm.
So you could be a Jamaican and one could be a Rasta and one could be a Seventh-day Adventist, but you're still binded by being a proud nationalistic Jamaican,
Hmm.
right? You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to
Yep.
Jamaica Day, when it comes to any Caribbean or Jamaican festival, or or the Jamaican Independence Day, you're going to go and turn out in numbers because of the
Yep.
nationalism
Yep.
more than the Rastafarianism versus the Seventh-day Adventists or the Baptists or whatever, right? So, and that's
Hmm.
another one. And we know Jamaicans are nationalistic, right? Other islands too,
Yeah,
but
man.
so
Trini's.
Trinis
Can't
too.
listen, man. I was at the River Lions game the other day, and I'm walking through, and true to the Trinity bone, man, just up and wave, jumping, just wild, and just take the flag, man, flag there today, and that, and you know what I mean. He was just hype, and I'm just like I couldn't help but take the hype with me as I went around the rest of the arena, man. So, yeah, it's we have a way of influencing people in the Caribbean that I think we sometimes don't realize or just take for granted. Hmm.
And it's spread far and wide. You have in Canada, it's primarily Jamaica, but other Caribbean islands, Caribbean culture has rubbed off on so many people in the West, right?
Yep.
So many people in the West, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Down to you could have just normal Caucasian boys who grew up around us and they're speaking, broken English and patois just like us, right? Um, and it rubs off. Right? Sounds like you cut off there. You there still?
Yeah, I'm still here.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
just had to switch over.
yeah. And it very much rubs off, which shows you the strength in our culture. So
All right, just a second. We got someone coming in live. Okay. All right. Yeah, the K Lonely in the building. All right. I gotta exit out of this one here because I got too many things open right now. There we go. All right. That was a trip. We're back, ladies and gentlemen. Well, we never really left, but we got you good with me? You hear me still?
yes, I can hear you clear.
All right, cool. We got some music to play in a bit, but actually, you know what? We'll throw a track on here before we head to commercial break. Let's go. Episode 415 of the Terrell Effect. We still going. HD Picasso. Track's called Spinners. Now, is he talking about wheels or the dumpling we put in our soup?
Why? I never heard this one yet, so I got to listen to this.
All right.
that kid take both of me. Took it inside to you one time, and she telling everybody to go with me. Yeah, brown and black Taurus on my hip right where it supposed to be. Anti, you ain't one of mine, don't want you close to me. Bipolar, I don't want no that kid take both of me. Took it inside to you one time, and she telling everybody to go with me. Freaks dots, sneaky out shit. I know they want to see me drop, see him plot from bird's eye view. I grab a steam watch. Little you a G or not? Show me something, let me see it pop. Heard he left him on the side of the curb with his whole insides leaking out. Inshallah, my hand don't get forced. No witness gangs, whatever they saying, that thing gon' stand up in court. That's your brother inside that can, go get that man some support. Ain't nothing changed inside this plane. I got the same plane as before. I'm rocking Hermes and Dior. Alright, what's spinners that don't stop. And talking about rims, talking about my hitters, they hitting on yo block. Say that you stepping, I don't hear nothing, not even a toe drop. Yeah, and try to rob something that could turn to a dead in a roadblock.
Okay, HD Picasso with that track called Spinners. We got Lyricson. All right, my computer's acting up. Computer's acting a fool. It's about to shut down again for some odd reason.
They're good.
Okay. If this computer shuts down again, we're gonna have to go back to the interview format because really something's going on that has to be sorted out, and the timeline is just not going to allow it. So we're just going to have to realize that I'm still one of, if not the longest running weekly episodic podcast out of Niagara.
That's what's up.
Okay.
That's what's up.
I've aired every week except for 3, but even then, I still managed to squeeze it in. If you do the math, it's been about 8 years of me doing this on this podcast, on this platform. Yeah, I mean, we got.
You're working.
Fam, I'm telling you, if that's not passion, then I don't know what is other than this track by LL Cool J. It's called Passion. I like to do it.
Y'all need a new team like a girl with a BBL need new jeans. It's in my DNA to let them play in the enclave, percolate while songs play. Andre the Giant, 3,000 ways, make a move. I'm seasoned with it.
That's what I thought. I saw it happening. That's why I had this ready. That's why I had this ready right here. You know what I mean? I had that on the ready. You saw that how the transition was much quicker this time?
I see it.
Yes. How am I on 2 different screens at the same time? Because that one hasn't been booted properly yet. See what I'm saying? I'm ready for you, technology. Are you ready for me? It's okay. It's okay. I'm supposed to be doing this podcast tonight. I'm going to do the podcast on my phone. I have the Den of Destruction, which is set to happen before Cash in the Satchel, which is set to happen tonight at 8 p.m. James Owen Brown on YouTube. YouTube.com/@POEZ is where me and the boys wrestling will be using digital avatars to settle differences for real people. Cash in the Satchel is like, you see, the other brands call it money in the bank, but Cash in the Satchel is where the real stuff happens. No one gets hurt, but people get in, but egos. Nothing gets bruised but egos here at Me and the Boys Wrestling. That's what makes our federation better than anybody else.
I like that. I like that.
You can walk away, knowing that you don't got a significant hospital bill or something like that. But we're here right now with Captain. You know what I mean? Oh man, so you know what? I almost ended up in Ottawa the other day. We were like this close to ending up in Ottawa. And if it was a sunny day, we likely would have went to Ottawa and came back home the next day. But it was a torrential downpour. My fiance drove through the rain, fam, and it wasn't just like a little. It wasn't like a
Mm.
little bit of. It was like a. It was almost like if it had. I don't know about the roads in Montreal. First of all, there's so many divots that the splashing comes over on the
Yeah,
next side. Like,
yes, yes.
we got
Mon-
to.
Montreal is known, well, Quebec as a province is known for bad roads in the infrastructure, but Montreal takes the cake from other cities in Quebec. Takes the cake. The roads is, yeah, it's bad. It's horrible,
Like,
right?
if there, I don't want to sit here and bash. It's like I don't want to talk bad about my shoulder,
Mm-hmm.
knowing it's connected to my arm, and I
Mm-hmm.
need my arm to do the job. You know what I
Yeah, yeah.
mean? But
I
like,
hear
if
you.
my shoulder's not acting right, I'm gonna have to talk about the shoulder. You know,
I like that
the,
analogy.
the rest of the arm's fine. It's just the shoulder. Now, like, I don't know if there's a chip on the shoulder.
Mm-hmm.
What up, Jason? Jason Butt, aka DUI, aka one of the hardest working producers out of Niagara, aka the executive producer of some of my most random events. Oh man, I'm telling you, like there's some good stuff happening. Be sure to check out xrpradio.co.uk. I believe sometime to actually, as a matter of fact, 6 p.m. tonight, Mr. DUI will have his show, if I'm not mistaken. And then after the show, he will be joining me in the Den of Destruction. I have I have at least 2 podcasts to do today, possibly 3. Ladies and gentlemen, I do what I do because it needs to be done. Don't take me too serious because I like to have fun. All right.
Yes,
You know
yes.
what I mean? It is what it is. So, what do you have as a upcoming project? And if you're looking for actors, I mean, like, we could coordinate, bro. If you're like extras or whatnot, like I'm trying to get all my credits. Like I call myself a multimedia mountain because a mogul's not big enough to cover what I do.
I hear you. I hear you. I hear you. Um, like I said, I have like, because I've always been writing for a long time, so I have like
Yeah,
about 17 different scripts like put away. But the first thing is we want to get this one underway and try to get
of course.
distribution for it, right? After that,
Hmm.
I want to try my hand at black horror, you know,
Yeah.
because black folks are always saying they don't like horror, they don't like Obia business, they don't like this and that. But I want to try my hand at the black horror because I've always loved horror when I was growing up, right?
Well,
A good horror
if
movie that make you jump, you know.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Mm.
Listen, if you're looking to expand to the youth, my daughter right now is practicing her horror makeup.
All right.
She got me to get her some liquid latex, some fake
Mhm.
blood. So like we work. As a matter of fact, DUI's remixing like 30 tracks by tomorrow. This guy's a machine. But yeah, so if you're looking for an audio video producer, I don't know if I can like. I'm gonna suggest him. You're gonna
Mhm.
have to deal with his schedule, but like he's got some tunes, bro. He's got some tunes.
All right.
But yeah, I got to do this plug because Haunt Manor is coming. It's around the corner, ladies and gentlemen. You're seeing me in black light. You're seeing me in block light mode. This is what everybody's gonna be tripping on later tonight. I'm colorful, y'all. All right.
Mhm.
But anyways, Haunt Manor happens on Lundy's Lane from oh man, the last week of September to the last week of October. It is some of the scariest stuff you'll ever see, and I'm not just saying that because I'll be there. We work with some of the greatest actors in the haunt community. Our boss doesn't even act like our boss. He acts like, you know what I mean? He just doesn't act like our boss. You know those guys that just like he acts like he's on the level with you, even though you know he's
Yeah.
above you. Kind of that's our boss right there. He pops in, how you doing? That never mind. You're doing great. Keep doing the great that you're doing. All right,
Yeah.
cool, cool. You know what I mean? I'll take that. And he's
Yeah.
he's always excited. Like he's always got positive energy. I mean, like I remember one day it rained. There was like a downpour of rain before we had the thing. He's out there. He's filling the holes with the gravel and everything. He's like, don't worry, guys, everything will be okay. And if it's not, we'll make the best of it.
Mm.
That's his demeanor. So I'm like, it's hard not to want to work with that. Let's
Yes.
see, roughly 30 released and just over 160 instrumentals. You looking for any instrumentals, bro?
Oh yes, we always willing to work with people, especially instrumentals or people who make beats and create. Definitely.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Okay. I'm getting a phone call right now, and I'm pretty sure that everybody knows that I'm on the live. So I'm gonna have to answer this. Give me a second.
All right. Just on pause. That okay. Much better. Much better. Yo.
I'm trying to focus on this instead of this.
Yes.
This is fucking me up. I think it bring up the bright levels.
You see what the pressure do to us now? The pressure make us. Okay, hold on.
Okay. Sorry.
Yes.
That like you see, I lectured my daughter the other day about answering her phone. So leading by
Right.
example, leading by example, I'm like, okay, don't be a hypocrite. Answer your phone. She asked me, she's
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm not sure if you heard our conversation. She's like, what does Jamaican root beer taste like? Jamaican ginger beer taste like? I'm like, being honest, ass.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have the palate for it. I should have said,
Yes.
but
Yes.
you know what I mean. I was just
Yes.
trying to give her an answer. So then she realizes that I'm on the podcast. It's just like it's like, listen, when I call you to interrupt you and your friends doing some silly stuff, it's
Mm-hmm.
different than you calling me to interrupt me doing serious stuff. Okay, love you, but between 12 o'clock and 2 o'clock, unless otherwise stated, nobody call me unless you want chat on the phone, pan line. All right. Anyways,
Mm-hmm.
listen. I skipped one of my breaks, but it's okay because we're gonna let it be known that there was time that can be shown in between the 33-minute mark where it can take a chunk out. We're almost at the end of the show. We've been truncated to about 45 minutes because of additions that will be made after the fact. But ginger beer is great. Of course, you'd say that, Mister. I like drinking warm Guinness. But yeah, he does guitar, bass, and drums. And don't let him fool you, man. He can put down a mix even if it's not hip hop.
All right, all right. My socials is very accessible, right?
Yeah.
For on the Instagram is Soul City Store, right? All
Soul
one
City
word.
Store.
Soul City Store. SOUL CITY store. STORE, right? And I'm
Yeah.
always posting. I'm always posting on there. For on Facebook, it's
Mhm.
Northern Touch Canada DVD,
Okay.
right? Northern Touch Canada DVD. And it's and I'm very accessible. And I give out my phone number handles all the time. 613-793-8888. I give it out there.
All
And
right. All
anybody
right.
can hit me up. I've learned. It was a boss man who told me about that. It was a boss man told me that you have to be accessible. You can't be one of
Yep.
these people who's just incognito all the time. Don't give out your handles. Don't give out your phone number. No, that's why we have business cards and your phone number's right on it. And
Yep.
so I've switched it up and I've given out my phone number like easily on socials. Right, 613-793-8888.
Yeah,
Right.
man. That's how you gotta do it. All
Yeah.
right. Man, we gotta chop it up again. Let me know when, and hear my words. Let me know when you get that distribution because this is just a step towards the direction you're headed, fam.
Yes, definitely. I'm gonna be letting the people know, right?
All
And
right.
that's what I use. People like, you know what I mean. I like to interact with people who's doing podcasts and live streaming like yourself. I like see people doing their thing, man. And it's funny. There's all kind of people I realize in Canada and in US too doing their little thing. There's little gems hidden all over the place, and you just never know.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? You
It's
got
true.
400 and something episodes in 8 years straight. Who could say that? You know?
Not very many. I've
No.
known people to I've known people to start and get
Start.
to maybe 50, 100, but then they just run out of steam. Like someone tried in order to get to the same number that I was at, someone tried to start doing theirs daily and ran out by like 150 something because daily is a little bit too much. Like I'm not
Too
even
much.
on daily, but like
Right.
weekly, that gives me. I'm on twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays, and sometimes Wednesdays I just have to do a replay because to prepare for Saturday it takes a lot. Like I gotta get the content from. I get my content from Liaison in Ottawa and
Hmm.
whoever artists I meet along the way. And then I gotta figure out which events I'm talking about. Like there's only so much show. Resolutions happening August 10th. Afro Caribbean Festival is happening August 10th and 11th. Caravana is
Hmm.
happening August 2nd. There's the Heart
Yeah.
Journey show that's happening on the 2nd and 3rd. Like, there's so much happening. A Haunt Manor in October. We got the summer cool down in September, but we also got to go, ladies and gentlemen. So if you want to hear more, tune into the next show. Go to Expose the North 8741. Click notify. After you click subscribe, you'll see me every time I go live. And that's just the way it's got to be. Captain,
Yes.
until the next time, let us set sail.
Salute. Hmm.
Salute. Bless up.
Salute.
DUI. I see you, fam.
All
And
right.
yeah, all right. We out.
We out. All right.